Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about me watching Tenet for the second time and also my experience, some stuff that I learned, and obviously this is going to be a spoiler video. So if you have not already watched Tenet, please do not watch this video. You can watch my spoiler-free review, which is on the card on screen right now. I don't know where it is, it's somewhere above me, or you can check the first link in the description. But that video is spoiler-free. This one is not, and that is your one and only warning. So yeah, guys, I watched Tenet for a second time, and I'm super glad that I did because it cleared up a lot of stuff that was previously in the air. And again, if you've watched it one time and you can watch it a second time, I really recommend you do that. There's gonna be a few parts to this video. First, I'm gonna tell you some stuff that was up in the air for me and then it got explained. Also, why you should watch it a second time, just the specific stuff. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that before we move on with the video because I upload daily. I upload movie reviews, gaming videos, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I made a little list of stuff that got cleared up and stuff that was in the air for me before, so I am going to be reading off of my computer, so don't mind if I'm not looking directly at the camera. So, watching Tenet for a second time, as I said before, cleared a lot of stuff up for me. One of those things is that there's a lot of people talking about how cars were being inverted, but not all of the vehicles were. In the movie, helicopters aren't inverted, and only cars are inverted when a human is driving them. And in that case, when it's a human, it's an inverted human. I feel like this is kind of weird for me, especially because the friction makes no sense when a car is driving backwards, especially when everything around it is going forwards, but that's just me. I also saw something on a subreddit, I'm gonna pull it up right now, and it basically says why the protagonist doesn't annihilate himself when he grapples himself to Freeport, or at the Freeport. So I think when I watched the movie the second time, I realized this is because the female soldier told us that when he wears the black suit, that basically prevents him from like exploding whenever he grapples to Freeport. So that's another thing that was pretty cleared up for me afterwards. Another thing that I thought was super interesting was the Talon reversal. Another thing that was super confusing to me the first time was the Talon reversal. And in my opinion, it was kind of hard to grasp or like kind of get a hand on in real time. And I don't necessarily understand how Kat fits into that whole thing. I couldn't really tell if she was inverted or she was going forward because at times she was wearing the little mask thing, the white mask, and at times she wasn't. And this one I'm going to read directly off of the internet because I found this one on subreddit and I thought this was super interesting. This guy said after he watched it the second time, he realized that the chat between Neil and TP, which is the protagonist, about pissing in the wind and parallel universe / consciousness is important because it creates the doubt that the existence of a future doesn't imply the success of the mission. So to me, that basically means that there's no like parallel universes, so the mission couldn't have gone wrong in any other way. It could have only gone the way they did it. So that kind of creates any other doubt of like, oh, why didn't they just destroy it? It's because it wouldn't have changed in there's no such thing as another parallel timeline, so there's no point of it. They should have just done it properly in their moment and shouldn't have waited for other people to do it in a different place because there's no other place. There's no other parallel existence or parallel universe. Also, another thing that was really important about the movie is that the second time I watched it, the audio was much better for me. Now, maybe it was just because of my where I was sitting when I was watching it compared to the speaker at home and the sound system at home. But I was having a better experience in terms of listening and being able to hear all the characters. And on top of that, I think I heard someone in the final battle scene. I think Neil was driving his car and he was getting shot at in the car. And basically, I think I heard one of the female soldiers yell out Max. Now, maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I just heard it because I heard it, that Max and Neil theory before I watched it the second time. But I swear to God, I heard that in my head, or I don't know what happened. But I really think that's just true. But I might have to rewatch that scene over and over just to make sure that I'm not tripping. And then I looked up that theory online once again, and some guy on YouTube also heard the same thing as me, so I might not be that crazy. Also scrolling through Reddit, I found a really cool comment about how plane inversion works in the movie because obviously, like I said before, in the movie, almost anything that was, almost any vehicle that wasn't a car was not being inverted. And even when a car was being inverted, it was only inverted when an inverted person was driving it. So I'm going to read off this theory, okay? This guy says, his name is Hypnos Phil, I think that's how you pronounce it. He said, maybe a flying plane inverted is doable, but it would just require way more training for all the unintuitive aspects of what would happen when you adjust various flight control surfaces in reverse time. So, in my opinion, that's kind of whack. Like, they never really explained the motion of vehicles and all that. But I guess maybe, yeah. I mean, that's like the only logical thing. It's like, the inverted pilots have to learn opposite controls. I don't physically know how that would work, but then again, I'm not a pilot, so I can't really say anything about that. So now I'm going to talk about why you should watch Tenet for a second time. Now I know obviously the regular answer is just like, okay, you get more explanation of the movie. But I feel like honestly it adds on to the full experience of watching Tenet for the first time. The first time watching the movie, I did watch it both times at home. So the first time I watched it, I paused it about twice, and that was probably to go to the restroom or to get snacks or something. And those 2 times I kind of stopped, and when I paused, I had the chance to think about what was happening, what was going down, and in my opinion, that was really helpful because then I wasn't nearly as confused as I would have been if I didn't get to pause it. Now when I'm watching it the second time, or you at home whenever you're watching it for the second time, you'll know like, okay, I have to look forward to this part, I have to pay attention, my mind has to be in the right place, I have to be trying to understand what's going to happen because I already know what's going to happen. I just need to make sure that I understand the smaller details as to what's happening. Now I know everything that I just said was super confusing, but the basic line is obviously you're going to understand stuff more, but when you're watching it a second time, you can kind of look forward to certain parts. Also, you can kind of have like a mental note in your brain. It's like, okay, this part kind of confused me the first time, so now I'm going to kind of wait for this part to come up, and right before, I'm going to try and think about what I thought before and how it's going to play out this time, because it might change my complete view on whatever theory I had about the movie before. Now, personally, I still feel like my theory is generally right about Neil, and if you guys want a full video on my theory, let me know by dropping a like rating down below and I might make that a video. Bottom line is, you should rewatch this movie, and the biggest reason that you should rewatch this movie is not just for clarity, but also I felt like I enjoyed it a little bit more because I wasn't nearly as lost as I was the first time. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like rating down below, share with your friends if you enjoyed. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.